Right on cue. And Peyton joins us now, the Sportsman of the Year. First of all, congrats on that, Peyton. And I got Tony, who's joining us here to ask you the tough questions. But welcome to the program.
Hey, Dan, Coach, thanks very much. Appreciate you having me on.
All right. When you heard the news that you were the Sportsman of the Year, what'd you think?
Well, I was certainly honored. I've always read this issue of the magazine and knew what great history it had. Going back to, great winners, true legends. In a world where the word legend is overused, there are some true legends on this list. Stan Musial, Arnold Palmer, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. So I was certainly honored to be added to this list. Not sure I'm worthy of it, but I definitely gratefully accept it.
Yeah, Tony said he didn't know if you were worthy of it, but you know how Tony is. Now that he's in TV, he has these strong opinions.
Well, in order to win, I had to have 4 neck surgeries in order to put myself eligible to win this award. So I guess it was worth the sacrifice.
But speaking of that, Peyton, we talked a little bit right before the season started, and I just got a sense that you felt like this could be a special year. You were past those surgeries. You knew your teammates a little better. Did you envision something like this happening?
Well, Coach, I certainly felt more comfortable this year with my surroundings. As you know, you and I talked often. Last year was such a whirlwind, and you never really get comfortable. I was pretty surprised that we had some success, last year with so many new parts. Just for me, a new system, new teammates, new coaching system, new culture, and then learning a lot about my physical state. So this year, I had much more of an idea of how I felt physically and certainly my surroundings, and was on the same page with my teammates and coaches. I think that allowed for more of a comfort level, and certainly I was excited when this season got started.
As far as taking losses, in the early part of your career to now, like after the loss against San Diego, do you take them better, more understanding, more reactionary when you were younger? Is there a difference?
Well, they're always disappointing, and I think if you take them too well, that means it probably doesn't matter to you as much, and you probably ought to get out of the profession. So they're still disappointing, especially when you put a lot of hard work into a week of preparation, and the game comes down to 4 or 5 plays that didn't go your way, and so it is disappointing. But I have learned that you better channel it and process it, learn from it, and put it behind you so it doesn't drag you further down the next week. And Coach Dungy was always great dealing with that. We didn't have to deal with it a lot, but when it did happen, we were always able to move on to the next week. So I learned a lot from him in learning how to deal with a loss.
Does it concern you when Coach is on TV and then he's analyzing your work if maybe he's telling too much?
Well, I mean, certainly it makes me work hard as well, Daniel. People think I'm watching, the opponent's film and watching my cell phone film to see what we have to change up. I'm watching the NBC broadcast to see what Coach Dungy is pointing out. I have to change that signal or that code word based on that. So I think he's just keeping me on my toes, and he's really coaching me still, even today.
Well, I never say anything, though, that hasn't been on the audio on TV already or anything. Never give any real secrets out.
Did you try to?
Absolutely not. I tell you, everything's on these TV copies now. I realize the commissioner wants to bring the fans at home closer to the game, but I'm still trying to figure a way to how to turn those volume mics down during the game, Coach. I haven't quite figured it out.
Well, I asked somebody about that they said that you did inquire. Can you turn down the audio so not everybody hears what you're saying during a game? Is that true?
I certainly did inquire, and they said they appreciated my inquiry, and that was pretty much the end of it. So
we asked Tony all kinds. I pepper Tony with questions all the time about what you're doing, what you're saying. And you know what? He would be a decent prisoner of war, Peyton. He wouldn't be a great prisoner of war, but he would be pretty good.
But it doesn't matter. Teddy Bruschi knew what Storm Oakland was, and then when you change it to a play-action pass, it messes them up. So.
That's exactly right. So, hey, I'm trying to keep their trying to keep their defense on their toes and trying to keep my own guys on their toes as well. So we're always changing it up.
Hey, I do have one question for you, though. Stokely told me this. You were always, when we were there and we had the family day on Saturday practice, you were always a little uncomfortable. We need a little more, dedication and focus. We can't have all these kids out there. And Stokely said, now that you got the twins, you got to have the kids at Saturday practice.
Hey, things change, Coach. Things change. You have to be able to call audibles. Certainly, Marshall and Mosley have been a great change for me and Ashley, and it's definitely changed my approach on things. So I definitely have to admit that I have changed in those days.
Well, that's awesome.
Before I let you go, learning how to parent with what your dad did with hands-on, the ability to be able to separate work from being a father, I thought, Arch did a brilliant job with that. How much did you learn from your dad to help you parent?
Well, obviously I'm in the beginning stages, but I think, Dan, to answer your first question, taking a loss, it certainly helps, to come home and have two 2.5-year-olds running around and smiling and asking me if I'm home from work and haven't been playing football. So that definitely keeps things in perspective. Like I said, to be fair to your teammates and your coaches, it doesn't make it easy. It doesn't mean you accept losing the game, but it definitely keeps life in perspective. And so it's been a great joy for Ashley and I, and certainly can make things a lot easier.
Well, congrats on Sportsman of the Year, Peyton, and good luck the rest of the season. Thank you.
Hey, Dan, Coach, thanks a lot.
Yes, congratulations.
The Dan Patrick Show, weekday mornings on Audience.